Okay, my name is Anthony, and I'll be talking about autism on my report. Uh, let's start. Many people in the United States believe that autism is a disorder with no known cure. They believe that autism is a disorder that affected children and adults alike and is a burden on society. In the year 1981, the autism rate in the United States was about one out of more than 10,000. As the years uh, as the years went on, the rate of people with autism increased more and more, all the way to one out of every two people with autism, or 50% of all people in the United States. We may not be able to stop autism from spreading, but I believe we can adapt to it and learn how to understand it. I believe that the more people get involved with my campaign, the more people will know how to adapt and learn how to help children and adults with autism. According to Truth Out, the rate of people in the United States with autism will be about 50% in the year 2025. And there will be nothing to prevent it from happening. This may be true, but there might be nothing to stop the rate of autism from increasing. And I believe that if we can't stop the rate of autism from growing, we can at least understand it by learning about the symptoms and ultimately how to deal with autism, so we can build a better future for children and adults with autism. Autopsies on children with autism have been taken and have proven that there are abnormalities with the neurons within children's brains, and have ultimately proven there were such as toxins, and that have interfered with the development of brains of children while they were still fetuses, which may have caused them to be diagnosed with autism. I believe that if I can set up a campaign on the project of awareness of autism and the symptoms, then I believe that more people who live with autism or have a relation to someone who has it will be more willing to join the cause of helping it. I know so much about autism and how to cope with it because I have autism, and I also have years of experience with it. And I believe that if I can explain what I know about autism, then others will know how to identify the symptoms of autism and learn how to cope with their disabilities of autism. I believe that people with autism that don't know they have it or how to cope with it can be a risk to themselves and those around them who are also unaware of their disability. People with autism can have serious behavior such as aggression due to anxiety of not being able to communicate, possibly being the most dangerous, not keeping eye contact, getting upset by changes in one's routine, having obsessive interests and other behaviors. These are serious behaviors that should be addressed as soon as possible before they get out of hand. People with these behaviors should be brought to light as soon as they are displayed, which can be at a very young age, but often misdiagnosed as ADHD, etc. I plan to inform my audience about my campaign by starting a Facebook page about autism and how other people can help with autism. Learn more on how to better understand autism, as well as those who do not have it. My Facebook page will have a donation box to help me get the campaign started, and an information section to help better understand autism, and a contact section so people can contact me for further information. Don't worry about the dog, he's just a background thing. Okay, I have a story for everyone who's watching this video. The year right now is 2022, so 2 years ago on August 31st, there was a young man named Kobe Dimmick Heisler. And he was staying with his grandparents for a while. But he was shot to death by police because he had, his autopsy showed that he had autism, but the police thought he was just an out of control maniac. But after the autopsy came back diagnosing him with autism, people were in an uproar and were protesting uh, because this boy did not receive justice. He was only 21, but he was still just a young man. Yes. See, but the grandparents didn't know that he had autism. But I think it's a possibility that his real parents or his birth parents knew he had autism, but they weren't in the house at the time. So the reason this boy was shot to death was because he was going berserk with a kitchen knife, I believe, if I remember correctly. And the police could not stop him, so they shot him to death. But I have questions here. If the boy's parents were there, could they have diffused the situation? Or if the grandparents knew that he had autism, could they have diffused the situation? Since the boy was diagnosed with autism, it's obvious that he had a trigger that set him off to holding a knife. Yes, but that trigger could have been anything. So is it possible that there was some sort of domestic disturbance with his grandparents that set him off, or was it something else? This type of thing can set off many autistic people, such as myself. Domestic disturbance. Believe me, I have experience with it. This type of thing can probably be compared to a raging bull, seeing red, which can be a trigger to its rage. Another question I have was if Heisler was nonverbal, because if he was, he couldn't really explain why he was going off with a knife. There was no telling what he would do or think. Many autistic people are nonverbal. Some can communicate through means other than talking, such as, personal sign language, such as pointing to something or maybe hitting themselves in frustration. But as I asked before, what would have happened if Heisler's parents were there on the scene? Would they have been able to defuse the situation? Possibly, before it turned lethal. Maybe, but they weren't. But where were they during that time? But I have a question to everybody watching this video. What would you do if you heard someone was shot dead by the police and they turned out to be autistic? Would you assume that they shot them because they were autistic and they did not know how to handle them? Or would you think they shot them because they were out of control? That is my video to you. I thank you for watching.